Right then.
Hello, welcome to In a Candy Store podcast. Today's guest is my very, very good friend, Aleksandar. How are you?
Hi. A little nervous, but okay, I guess.
Why are you nervous? You know me for like 100 years.
I know you, but I don't like even talking with people on video calls on Viber or something like that. So this is something new for me.
Oh, okay, so I'm very happy you're here. I'm very happy you're going to share your experience with other people who have type 1 diabetes and who maybe have similar situation to yours. Can you tell us something about yourself? Introduce yourself. Like, how old are
Um,
you? What do you do? Where do you live?
I'm 39 years old. I live in Biedina,
How much?
that's in Bosnia.
Sorry, how old are you?
I coughed already. 39 years old. I live in
I thought
Biedina.
you said 49. That's why I
No,
asked.
no, no, 49. I live in Bielsa, same as you, in Bosnia for our international viewers. So I work as a lawyer. That's about standard introduction info.
Okay. And can you tell me, well, actually, can you tell us who watched this? How old were you when you were diagnosed?
I was
You
seven
have
years
type
old.
1 diabetes, insulin
Yeah,
dependent.
yeah. I was 7 years old, and if there's probably no good time to find out that you have diabetes, but in the middle of the Bosnian War is probably one of the worst time for that. So that was it. About 94, 95, I find out that I have the diabetes.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible. During the war,
Yeah,
it's probably the worst time to find out about any
yeah.
disease,
I mean, our
especially.
health system is not very good at this time, and you can imagine what was the situation back then. So
So when we talk about healthcare system, I know
yeah.
how it is today, and I was
Yeah.
diagnosed in 2000, so it was like 5 years after the war. But you were diagnosed like in 95, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
live on the
what was the healthcare
outskirts.
system then? During the
Uh,
war or after the war? Sorry, I have to ask that. Was it
yeah.
the Civil War still present?
During the war, it was still war, and I lived on the outskirts of Sarajevo, so pretty much in the middle of the things, and I was diagnosed there. But there's no much support or healthcare over there, so I was sent to Serbia first in Belgrade. I went there to Institute for Mother and Child. Is
Yeah,
that
Institute for Mother and
Pennsylvania?
Child.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was there for a couple of days for some tests, but I ended up in Sremska Mitrovica, and that's where I got initial treatment, and that's where my treatment for the foreseeable period was established.
But what about your medications? Where did you get that from? Did you get that from Serbia or from Bosnia? Bosnia and
First time,
Herzegovina, sorry.
first time, as much as I can remember, because I was 7 years old
Yeah.
at that time, so my parents worried more about that than me, I guess, at that moment. But as far as I can recollect, I was diagnosed then in Sarajevo, and I didn't get any medication on it or any therapy or anything there. They didn't have the necessary tools, so they sent me to observations and to get therapy in Serbia. And as I said, I was in Belgrade for 1, 2, or 3 days, but I still didn't get any therapy over there. And then I was sent to Sremska Mitrovica in the hospital there. And when I came there first day, I think my blood sugar was extremely high, and they said that I have to stay there for like next foreseeable time, 10, 15, 20 days to establish some therapy. And my initial reaction as a 7 years old was to tried to run away from the hospital. Luckily, door was closed. But I couldn't escape that time. But they said it's obviously too much stress to leave me there that time. So they sent me home, and I came back next day, and blood sugar level was also very very high, and that's when I was more prepared to stay over there. That's when I stayed, and I was there for what I think it looks to me like a month, but maybe it was something less, but about a month, I would say. So there I get my first treatment there. How much time during the day I get insulin? They try to establish proper therapy, and they did that for next like 20 days. But now, when they started, there wasn't pens at all at that moment with these thin needles. There were like
Yeah.
proper needles and
Oh, I
injections. So
remember that. I remember that very well.
yeah, I cannot recollect
Like
when did you get first pens, but it was really struggling until up to
I
that
got
point.
them like in 2007.
Yeah,
So
it's probably something like that.
yeah, and I remember everybody in school like wanted to see how I do that, how I get insulin. You know, I was using needles and
Yeah,
medications by myself. I,
yeah,
I know people found that very interesting. Like
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
want to see what I was doing at the time.
Still up to this day, like we got some new colleagues about a year ago, and I took insulin in the bathroom at work, and I accidentally forgot there. And my colleague was coming in, like closing the door, and I was saying like, "Oh, you have something in there." They didn't know what it is. So yeah, it's still interesting to people.
Yeah, it
But
is.
I
It
stayed
is.
like a month in Srpska Mitrovica, and during my stay, I also got pneumonia attack. So it was very interesting stay.
I had no idea about that. I mean, I know you were diagnosed young, but I had no idea you were
Yeah,
that young and that it was during the war. I for
yeah,
some
yeah,
reason I
yeah.
thought you were like 14,
No,
but
no,
you were
no.
7 years
Just,
old.
just,
Wow,
just
that
seven
was
years
that
old.
that seems like a very traumatic experience.
Yeah,
I
I
love
mean,
I love that you are so positive person today because that's a very
it
traumatic
was at first.
experience for a lot of people, but yours is pretty much like on the verge of
Yeah, and it's an interesting time
medication
because it was,
experience.
yeah, it was pre-internet time, and not just pre-internet. I would say around Sarajevo, it's almost pre-electricity during that
It
time.
was
So,
it was a
so
wartime. There is no worse time than the wartime.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, we
So
don't need to
where
talk about anything else. Like that's just the fact that it was during the war and it was around Sarajevo. It's very dangerous and
yeah,
traumatic. And
yeah, really it
I
is.
am so happy you're so happy and positive person, and so happy to know you. I have to say,
Oh yes,
and I'm
I
so happy
believe.
you're sharing this because you know at the moment we're having so many countries that are in a war, and there are so many
Yeah,
people I'm seeing then online who doesn't have access to insulin,
yeah,
who got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So I think maybe your experience can show that it's not a new thing, that it
yeah,
happened before, that people, well, the governments should do something about it.
yeah. Luckily, well, for all that time, we didn't. After I got my therapy, we didn't have a problem with supply of insulin. But everything else, as you
Yeah.
can imagine, at that time, no much other resources.
Wow. You're a
Yeah.
hero.
So
You're
yeah,
you're you're Bijeljina's hero. So Bijeljina is a
yeah,
city
yeah,
in
right.
Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Okay.
Okay. What medication are you? Okay. What medicine? Sorry, not medication. What medicine are you using now? What type of insulin? And do you use like stripes or you have sensors? Do you use pump? What do you use from that?
I still use pens.
Only
I have,
pens.
yeah, yeah. I have now Tresiba and Novorapid.
Okay.
Those two types. I like Tresiba. It has longer
Yeah, long
work
lasting
time.
impact,
Yeah,
right?
lasting. It lasts longer, and Novorapid before the meals. And I switched to Tresiba. I think last autumn. Before it was Levemir insulin, so they changed it. Now it's Tresiba recommended by doctors. I had some time adjusting to it. It works a little bit different than 11 but I think I got adjusted to
Are
it.
you satisfied with it?
Yeah, I think I am. It's a little bit stronger than 11 and it works better 24 hours around the clock. Then it doesn't lose its potency over that
Yeah.
period. So it's maybe better and easier to use it and better to manage.
Okay. Do you think enough is known in our country, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, today about diabetes and especially about type 1 at children? Do you think people are
Well,
aware that children have that disease? Because when we were young, you know, people were like, oh, you're so young. Like, how is that possible? Only old
yeah,
people get that, and only fat people. Like, that was. the stigma.
I don't. Yeah. Fat people, or it's hereditary, and when it's
Yeah,
neither of those
hereditary,
two,
right?
they really don't know what it is. If it's neither of those two things, so it's
It's
still
usually
a
stress.
mystery. Yeah, yeah.
It's always stress. If they don't know what happened, it's stress,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, stress. Especially when you get it during the war, then certainly a stress. There can't be anything else.
Case closed.
Yeah. So I guess if you really want to know and get introduce yourself to it, you at this day you can. But as far as the public health services are concerned, I don't think that there's too much information and there's too much uh, prevention work and stuff like that. Maybe what that one day a year when it's International Diabetes Day or something like that. But other than that, at schools, other thing that there's too much information concerning prevention and getting to know a lot of stuff about it. So probably not. I
Are
mean, in this day and
oh,
age, yeah, of course you can. As I said, when I got it, I didn't at first I didn't know what's the at 7 years old difference between the diabetes and cancer. As I was like first 2 days, okay, I'm gonna die in 2 months, and then I got extra information and learned that it is something you live with. At this day and age, you can easily get information probably through the
yeah.
internet and stuff like that. But I don't think there's not enough institutional support, at least in our country.
What about mental health? Do you think there's support in that area?
Well, if you want me to be honest, I didn't look for it too much. So I cannot say there isn't that type of support because I honestly never tried to get that kind of support, so I don't know if you really ask for it and if you try to get it, if you can get that type of support. Maybe you have some experiences with that.
I asked my endocrinologist once
Yeah,
because I was feeling very, very low after the birth of my kids.
yeah,
Like that was the worst period of my life. And he told me I need to go to my primary practitioner and
yeah,
to see with them. So basically, endocrinology and diabetes are not associated with mental health. So you either
yeah.
go privately or you go through your primary practitioner. I think that's how we say it in English. Opšta praksa.
And did you try to follow it
No,
through?
no,
No.
because honestly, I had no idea what to tell her. Because
Yeah,
this was like, okay, I'm feeling like a lot of burden from my babies, from everything that happened with me, from like diabetes, like it's so much stress at the same time. But I told that to him. I actually just asked him. I didn't told him, but
yeah,
I wanted to tell him because it was connected with the diabetes.
yeah.
But I didn't know what to tell my primary practitioner, and I just gave up. And I never looked for privately for it
Psychology.
privately. I don't know. Like you
Yeah,
said, I just never. I we
and
don't talk about
when
it here, so people just kind of ignore it. Like, oh, okay, let's go and have some fun, and we'll forget about our problems. That's usually how
yeah,
everything
yeah.
goes here.
I'm very
It's
skeptical how much.
successful in many ways, but sometimes it's just not.
Yeah,
Maybe if
I'm
you're
very
younger, it's not.
I'm very skeptical about the help that you would get, even if they sent you to
Yeah,
like I'm very skeptical how much experience they have with that because I don't think that many people with this should we say problem or diagnosis are asking for that kind of help. So I'm very skeptical about how much their experience they have and how much support they can give because they mostly people with other types of addiction problems or psychological problems,
yeah, that's more
depression,
common actually.
PTSD, things that are more common, and there are common therapies that they give you for stuff like that. But I'm very skeptical, and it might be interesting just to see if they sent you what would be recommendations, if they have any experience
I am
actually.
actually interested too. Like, we should go together
Yeah,
and try. Like, oh, we
we
need
can
help.
do it. Yeah, 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 as an experiment.
Just as an experiment, right? To see if people are actually interested and know how much sometimes, taking care of yourself every single day is stressful.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
I wanted to ask you, were your classmates, like in elementary school and high school, aware that you had type 1?
Yes, they were aware. I it didn't affect too much my everyday activities. I try to participate in everything with them, from sports to other activities. But they were aware. Maybe later on, when I got to the college, people that I get to know after that, I didn't tell too much people. But at that level, elementary school and high school, they all knew, because I think at least at first at elementary school, my parents told my teachers, so they would know
Yeah.
it's important that they have that information, and then everybody else knew about it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad to hear that because
But
my friends also
honestly,
knew,
I
right?
didn't feel in any way singled out or because of
Yeah.
that. So it was it
See,
was it
I'm
was
asking you this
okay.
because I read so many stories, even in like Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina today, from kids who say that like their classmates don't accept them because of the disease. And to me, that's just scary because I grew up with so many friends and
Yeah,
everyone was so nice. Like we would bicker and argue and everything. But like you said, I never felt left out. I never felt
yeah,
excluded.
yeah.
I
I
participated in everything. And I think that's very from I don't know. I think maybe today's approach to all information, maybe just children are a bit scary, maybe. I don't know. They want to be bullies or something like that. Because we didn't have bullies like in that level at that level when we were
yeah,
young, I would say.
yeah. My
And
experience
somehow,
are the same as yours.
yeah, somehow everybody was always ready to help. I mean,
So,
that's how I remember it. I hope I'm not saying wrong. Maybe
yeah,
people, some people have different experience, but regarding our disease, I think people really were helpful.
yeah, I shared those same experiences, and when I look back at the school, as you say, there wasn't much bullying or stuff like that. At least in our
Yeah,
generation, maybe I can now recognize some subtle patterns of bullying, not towards me, but towards other people. But there was nothing like you see in American
yeah, we
movies or
see
stuff like
today.
that. Yeah, yeah, where the people are directly mean and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe it's something changed. Maybe it's a generational
Yeah,
things. I cannot say that I felt left out or singled out in any way
yeah,
related to that.
yeah. Glad to hear that. I have the same experience, I have to say.
Yeah.
Do you have any other conditions or diseases, something
Well,
related to diabetes or you don't know?
mm, no, not diagnosed, at least up until this point. There's just the symptoms like chronic tiredness sometimes and stuff like that, but nothing conclusive, and no formal diagnosis other than diabetes up to this point.
And
Of
what
course.
doctors follow you? What specialists follow you?
I go to my general practitioner and endocrinologist. Those are two, and like occasionally ophthalmologist,
Yeah.
and yeah. So that's about it. And I have to say that I'm not the most disciplined guy. That
I wanted to ask that as a next question. Please tell us, how do you live? But before that, tell us, what do you do in life and how stressful is your work? How stressful was your college? Because you're a very successful person.
it can be very stressful. I mean, much more work
You're a
than
lawyer.
college. Yeah. So it can be like I think everyone would say that their job is stressful. Everyone has their experiences that make their job stressful. But I would say it is from two points of view. First, you work with people who come. I think doctors, they come to doctor with their biggest problems, and then to the lawyers with their second biggest life problems. So it can be less stressful working with people, and of course things like you have to really worry about not to miss any deadline or trial or something like that, which can have absolutely serious consequences. So it can be stressful, not all the time. It's something I
Have you
like.
ever, yeah, have you ever
Yeah.
noticed that that stress affects your blood sugar levels?
Oh yes, I think honestly,
You're
more.
not really concerned about that.
Oh, what can you do? It goes with
Life.
the work. Or maybe only 5 years leave it and go on some mountain or something like that.
Oh,
But
well. Yeah, you
for
travel a
now,
lot.
what?
You travel a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like this last week, like more than 1,000 kilometers. So I really do travel a lot, but it can be stressful. But I think it's more related to the food I take. Honestly, that it has bigger impact and how much I can manage to discipline myself in that department. When I'm taking insulin, when I'm what am I eating and stuff like that. So how much am I physically active and things like that. I think they are more, in my experience even more important than stress. But stress is also a factor that impacts the level of blood sugar.
So we talked about how you never felt isolated in school, right?
Yep.
But was there ever a time in life when you felt like, oh, I can't do this because I have type 1 diabetes, and or maybe thought too much about something, or be like, maybe go somewhere, do some type of job that's maybe physically, sorry, my English is
I
physically
understand.
exhausting, or maybe just even going to law school. Law school is pretty difficult. Were you
Yeah.
ever thinking that at that time, like, oh, will I be able to do this? Because, we sometimes get foggy thoughts.
Yeah. And honestly, not really, because I had some approach that probably is not the best to have. I try to not let it be too much of a psychological burden for me. So even if I like maybe I won't be that disciplined. I won't manage it that very well, but I won't let it be that much of a burden on my day to day life, on my daily life. So that's probably not the best approach, especially long term, because when you're young, you don't have that so much short term consequences. But over time, of course, diabetes affects all your organs and stuff like that. So I would say for a couple of years, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. The way I managed it, I tried to take my insulin, take care about food I'm taking, but not that much. So I didn't let it affect any way that would affect my day to day life. I would say, can I say fuck it?
So
uh,
you don't use sensors, you don't use pump, just insulin, right? And
yeah, yeah,
stripes.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
So have you ever
Uh,
thought about using sensors and
okay,
maybe pump?
I did use sensors after I switched to Tresiba.
Mm-hmm.
So in that initial time, to manage my sugar blood, to see how much it affects it, and to get my therapy straight. So I did use sensors for
Why
that
did you
period of
stop?
time. I I just it's kind the as much as I'm working, I'm trying to lately take more care of diabetes, and still it's kind of too much of a, I'd say, psychological burden to me to worry about it every moment or every day. Do I have high now? Do I have low now? Did I should I
Okay.
eat that or this? I'm trying to manage it better than I did previously. But I
I'm glad to
still
hear
feel
that.
like, but if I worry about it, I have my results every hour, or every day. I'm kind of too much stressed about that, so to say. So it's kind of at this moment easier for me to try to manage it this way.
Okay. Tell
Not
me
the
what.
best approach, and I would probably not recommend it to other people. But
But
it's kind of,
you're going in a good direction, because you, like you said, you're taking care of yourself better than you used to. So that's a
yeah,
good start. We can't sometimes do immediately everything from
yeah,
once.
yeah, yeah.
Again, this
Um,
was a bad English sentence, but what can I do? You
I said
understand
those
what
letters
I'm
in
trying to
English
say.
like half
So
hour.
step by step is okay for me, if you ask me.
Yeah, because in my 20s, I worried about it probably less than I am worrying about it now, and I took care of it less than I do now. But I'm trying to lately stay physically active to manage it better, to worry a little bit more about what I eat and stuff like that. And during 20s, I would say that wasn't always the case. So I'm trying, but I'm still not at that point where worry about it completely and have it under control completely daily, and manage it at that level.
Okay, before we finish this interview, which was
Yeah,
amazing, I have to say, first of all, I had no idea that you got diagnosed during the war. That's a new
yeah,
thing for me. And also, like, uh, you and I, we went to high school together, but
yeah,
just 2 years apart. But we went together, and we had no idea that there's like another person with type 1 diabetes at the same time in
yeah,
school,
yeah,
which
yeah,
to me
absolutely,
is
no, yeah,
crazy. Today, we would probably know because there's so much more information. People know much more stuff about it. But at that time, honestly, I never talked about it, and I believe you didn't either. You just told your teachers, so they were aware. Actually,
yeah.
your parents told your teachers, but it was never like, oh, help me, or I feeling sick. If you feel sick,
Oh,
you
not at
just help
all.
yourself. And that's
Yeah,
it.
not at all.
Yeah, even though people were ready to help you, it was still like, I don't know, embarrassing, right? You didn't want to
yeah, you're trying to
bother
be
anybody.
quote unquote normal, and
Yeah, you wanted to
they
feel
didn't want to that
normal.
much.
So
Yeah.
before we finish this, please tell
Yeah.
me, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do in your free time?
Oh, everything.
Except you go from to many countries, travel a lot, go abroad, and stuff
Trying
like
as much
that,
as much
and have
much I
funny
have
stories
fun.
from every country you visit.
But oh yeah, you know that. But we'll leave that for some other type of podcast. But I do like, okay, to travel even with my work when I get a chance to stay for a weekend. If I have a trial on Friday or Monday, I try to. And if it's some more exotic location, I try to stay over the weekend. Or of course, I like to travel, but I like everything: to read, to go out, to go to the festivals, to listen to the music, to
You love
trying
everything
to.
the young ones love.
Yeah, yeah. Not 39, approaching 40, but still trying to
What,
keep
40 is a
always
new
clean.
30, right?
Yeah, yeah. So,
Let's
yeah,
say that, and we will just say that that's true.
yeah. So,
Thank you so much for sharing your story. I think
you're
it will be
welcome.
helpful to many people, and thank you so much for being guest.
I'm glad to
Even
be
though
one of the
I
first
know
ones.
you hesitated because, like, but like I said, these are just friendly conversations, and especially since we know each other, this is
Yeah,
just
sure.
easy. Okay.
And I was glad to be one of the first guests on your podcast. And
I'm so happy you are
hope it
one of
will be
my
many,
first
many more.
guests. Thank you so much. And for the rest of you, take care of yourself, take care of your health, and see you in another episode. Bye.
Bye.